Arthur C. Avril was born on January 8, 1901, in Cincinnati, Ohio. Back then, the Avril name was best known for their meat business, Avril and Sons, which was started by Art's parents. By the age of 6, Art was standing on a box linking sausages, and by the time he was in high school, he was known as the best left-handed butcher in Cincinnati. However, after quitting school to help out full-time in the family's business while Art's brothers were in the service during World War I, Avril quickly came to realize that he didn't want to be a butcher. He hated it, so much so that when the war was over, Art decided he wanted to be a mining engineer because it was a course not offered by the University of Cincinnati, which meant Avril had to attend Ohio State University, where he wouldn't have to come home and work in the butcher shop every day after school. While at Ohio State, Mr. Avril and a few of his friends in the engineer colleges founded an organization called Technikoi. Technikoi is from the Iranian word for technical. These were students who were heavily involved in extracurricular activities and scholastically have better than a B average, but not as good as an A. The principle behind the organization was to recognize students who were interested in a well-rounded education, not just book learning. Avril was also involved in a theater group called the Scarlet Mask.
Scarlet Mask was a musical comedy organization. It was 100% stag. And of course, some of us had to take part of girls. And we were dressed like girls, and we'd sing. We'd have songs that were written specifically for the plays that we had. And I think one of the things that I can never forget, and the one who was the director of all of the plays that came out while I was in school, developed to be one of the most outstanding writers in the United States, James Thurber.
After graduating in 1925, Avril's first job was with the France Stone Company in Toledo, Ohio. In 1928, he started his own company called the Avril True Batch Concrete Company. It was here that Avril invented the first rotating, agitating truck, so that there would be no loss in workability in the concrete between the plant and the construction site. The concept was so successful, it is still being used today. The company prospered, and the products were well received, even to the point where in 1930, Avril supplied all 500,000 yards of concrete used to build the Cincinnati Union Terminal. This project was particularly significant because it was the first time in the world concrete was specified on the basis of its strength rather than the proportion of materials. This concept, developed by Avril, was later adopted for all specification of concrete in the country. The company continued to grow until 1935, when the bank sold a $13,000 loan on the company to Avril's biggest competitor for 50 cents on the dollar. The roof fell in. It was about this same time that Art married a girl he'd first met in high school, Mary Joyce. Out of business and broke, Art saw a great opportunity. In his ready-mix business, he had seen people continuously come to the plant with a bucket and ask if they could have the drippings from the mixer because they had a little concrete job to do around the house. It was an observation that spawned the concept of packaging dry concrete and mortar homeowners could mix and use as needed. He named the product line Saccrete, which is short for sacked concrete. Incredibly, Art and Mary bagged 36,000 bags of Saccrete the first year, just the two of them. There was no money for advertising, so word of mouth had to play a major role in their success. When Avril built a new plant, they needed a $250 deposit for the power company to supply electricity. Few people had that much money in 1936, so Avril worked out a deal to trade 500 bags of Saccrete instead of cash. When the CG&E started using Saccrete, it cut their workday in half. That did it. The word spread fast. Homeowners and businesses were using Saccrete throughout the city. It was even used for major repairs to the Carew Tower. In 1946, after Avril wrote some articles in trade journals about his Saccrete product, unsolicited, people came to Avril to take advantage of his know-how and to become licensed manufacturers of Saccrete products. A new plant was opened in St. Bernard and Indiana, and then licensed plants followed in El Paso, Texas, Maryland, and then across the country and around the world. By 1986, over 1 billion bags of Saccrete had been sold. Art and Mary were able to create an international organization to ensure the company's success because of their quality product and because they believed that it was a lot easier doing business with friends. In fact, they both traveled so much, they were the first couple ever recognized as traveling over 1 million miles together by air. Today, Saccrete has been placed in a category of one of the most widely known brand names in the United States and the rest of the world. Avril is the holder of 18 patents and a contributor to many technical journals. He has also been a member of many organizations and has served on many committees, such as the Engineering Society of Cincinnati, the Ohio Transportation Committee, the American Society of Testing and Materials, and the Chamber of Commerce Environment Society. You can still find Avril in the Saccrete offices 5 days a week, though he does manage to play some golf and spend time with Mary. He fancies antique cars and recently donated a 1954 Mercedes to his alma mater. Ohio State University sold the car at an auction for about $250,000 and used the proceeds to establish a scholarship fund in Art Avril's name. At 94, one could ask why Avril thinks he has been successful and what he is going to do next.
Well, I think it's very important, in my opinion, to wake up in the morning and instead of facing a problem, face a challenge. And if you face a challenge, you can start the day with a free mind and you can accomplish something. But if you start the day facing a problem, you might as well leave. Because problems stay problems. Challenges are always opportunities.
Having created an industry, Art Avril continues to build on his success. He indeed is one of Cincinnati's most creative inventors and businessmen, for his concrete thinking has built a nation.